Hi everyone. So first, I am Richard Reveron. These are my contacts. If you want to find this project that we're going to display here, you can follow here. And also if you want to connect, of course, LinkedIn, that's my name. I, of course, am working in the project with ING. And today we are going to have a small talk about LitHtml. The basics, create components, communication between them, and a demo through React. Also, of course, some beers. What is LitHtml? First, this is a library created by Google to go on top of the web components, very close to the web components. So it's also it takes the advantages of the web components, so it's multiple. It can be used in multiple Explorer, and it's fully compatible. It's very lightweight, as we said. It's about 5K, and it's very fast. It's very fast to code because it simplifies the methods of the web components, and allows you to create also very small components. And the fact that they work a lot with the DOM, it's very, very smart, and hence the fast of the component. Also, the learning curve is really short. So in a month, you can be, a small component maker. So for that, I recommend it. Who is using it? As of course, you can see here, ING, using Lion Web Components. They have their own registry of components, as you do an NPM. Of course, you can see the big players here: Google, SAP, Adobe, IBM, Microsoft. So you can see that it's getting a lot of attention. So, okay, when everything goes wrong, you have the official documentation, the open web components page, and you, of course, have the playground. So, just for a moment, let me show the playground. I heard that you guys were talking about TypeScript. So this is something really nice. You have to also import a library for it, but it comes also with TypeScript support. And all the documentations and also the playground comes with TypeScript. And as you can see, it's quite simple. Create a component. You just import these elements. Yes, of course. Can you see now?
Yeah.
A bit better. All right. So, for example, here you import the common stuff that you're going to use, the lead element, because you need to extend it, the component that you're going to create. This goes to the reactive element, and the reactive element comes extended from the HTML element. So you have the connection completely. So it's, it can work in every place, right? Native, like from the web component. So one of the good things about the component is like everything is closed or encapsulated in itself. And that also prevents from stuff leaking out of the component. Let's say the classes, let's say the functions. So in this case, you can see that they define the styles with this function CSS, which they imported right here on top. And they are basically saying that every P component, paragraph component, is going to be the color blue, right? And then you could see here, this is the index HTML that created it. So you could do something like this style. And then say here, just to mess with the thing, P color red, right? So nothing happens on the right-hand side, right? It's because they are not connected. But if I do here, for example, my demo, so you see that it grabbed it, but not inside the component. So it doesn't leak inside. So for example, if you have, let's say, you're working with some CSS framework, and on top of the element that you place there, it's not going to be affected by it. So this is good and something that you need to take into account. So here you can see they are passing this property, name equals world. So let's see what's going on this side. Oh, they created a property called name, right? And this means that whatever you pass to this component, it's going to pass through the component. So you can see in the constructor, it puts the name equals to something in case nothing was sent. And then, okay, you have here, hello, this name, right? Let's go to here, and then let's remove this to see what happened. Okay, hello, nothing was sent. So it's taking whatever it was initialized here in the constructor. So, and then you have the render function, which is actually using this function, HTML, which uses the interpolation quote, and you use it like this. Very similar to React, right? How you interpolate the things, and of course vanilla JavaScript. Using this references the class. All right, so here you go. This is a basic, super basic component using static, using a style, and using properties, right? This could have worked without anything of this as well. Just this and just passing here. Let's removing the name. Hello world. There you go. So without properties, without the style. So this is the bare minimum of you need to create a component. Of course, this is the native custom elements function. You define it. Oh, this is very important. How you define the component, it has to be with 2 words and with a dash in the middle. So you don't make the mistake of saying, you know what, this is a div, right? So you cannot create that component like so. And if you can, use like this casing with the first in caps and then the other one as well, right? And this is the class that you are connecting to it when you import this template, this tag, and the index. There you go. All right. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. All right. Okay, the basics. If you want to start from scratch, open your console, do npm. Lit, the install lit, and this is the server that you can use, ESDev server, just to create a very fast and small server, so you can create your components. Okay, as we said before, you have the import for the lit, an HTML method, the class that extends the lit element, the render, you define the component. That's like the bare minimum that you need. Okay, so basically this is the same thing that we just saw, and the small live code. And this is the key takeaways of this part: how you connect the properties, how you name the component, how you cross it with this one, how this is the name of the class. Those are the small things that you need to know. Oh, and this import, when you're doing the first import to the script, you need to type it equals module. When you're doing it standalone, like I just showed you. All right.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah, of course.
Back there.
Yeah.
You have styles on the left side, which starts from host.
Yeah. Oh, host. That's important. Right. Good point. So the host, in this case, is like when you say body. The host basically is going to target the complete element, only the component, right? And inside that is like when you say body here. This is for the index HTML. It's targeting everything, but this is not going to touch inside of that guy over there. So, and this one, the host, this tag is basically the whole component inside the shell DOM there, right? All right, yeah. Okay, so a few of the most important functions that I learned is the render, of course. You need the first updated. This is very important when you need to initialize things and you want to do something before putting everything updated. So you go into that part. So, I'm sorry, after you have updated the DOM. The updated, it will happen every time you change a property. So you click something and you have that attached to an event that it's gonna trigger a change in the properties that you already set. It's gonna call that method. So you need to be careful with that because you cannot put after effects that will trigger again updated, and you can get into the loop. All right. The connected callback you can do to put something like async, like after you included this thing, okay, I want you to do this or that. And the disconnected callback, when you're going to kill the element, let's say you have a bank connection, you can use that guy to make like a log in, log out, or something like that. So it's cool for clean up the code. Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, sure.
So it's written here, disconnected callback invoked each time the custom element is disconnected. But is it running before the actual element is disconnected from the page or right after it was disconnected?
Right after. The moment you delete it from the DOM, it triggers that event.
That's weird. Because in React, for example, you have this wheel unmount, because if you want to remove actions from the DOM elements, they should be on the page when you do remove event listener, for example. If you remove it from the page and you will call remove event listener against element which does not exist anymore, there will be an error. So
that bangs. Yes, of course. Okay. All right. This is the one that we already did. I went ahead of my time. Okay, this is something that it was difficult for me to understand at the beginning, how to communicate between them, right? And the most easy to understand, one of the patterns that it was more easy to understand for me, it was the mediator pattern, which basically stands like, you have a parent and then you have the child. So the child does something and it passes to the event, it bubbles up, and then the guy upstairs say, okay, yeah, I have the change, and then he can decide what he's going to do. If he wants to pass the event either, to the child or do something with it, right? Even, kill it itself. So it was like really different, for example, coming from React, when you just pass, for example, a setter from the use state, you pass it down the child, and then when you trigger, it actually triggers the one on top. So this is sort of similar, but it also uses a structure called slots. So basically you say that you're going to define something that is going to have something in here, and then this is what you're going to pass inside, who is going to trigger the event that this guy is going to listen. So it's sort of a bizarre way of saying.
Sort of like observable, so like
something like that. Yeah, something like that. Correctly. So yeah, if you were going to do it like in the past, let's say with vanilla JavaScript, you need to create an event here, and this guy has to be subscribed to listen for that name. Like that's how I would do it. But something cool about lit is like they define the listeners with only setting the at sign and then the name of the event. At click, for example, at mouse over or something like that. So you don't have to make all this amount of line of code, set all those things. So this makes it like super easy. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, let's only show a small thing for React. So in this case, basically this is a React scaffold that I have, and this guy only, it's a basic thing. It will render a component inside, just rendering a lit component from inside. Let me open this guy. So, okay, so this is my sum, right?
Not the same. Command plus, I think.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so this is my lit component, basic, high, whatever, right? That example. And then I have my app, which is importing like so. And then I input it here, the tag. Just as simple as that. So no, not too many difficult stuff. I think that they are making it quite easy so they can, afterwards take away React, because they're putting a lot of stuff like reactive properties and things like that. So it's starting to look exactly like React. And very small and also super compatible and, very lightweight. So yeah.
But React allows you to pass JSON as a property.
You could as well here, because you are allowed to pass objects. The property types here are object, array, string, number. I think Boolean as well, and I'm not sure if there are more, but with an object you can pass a JSON stringify that already.
So can you pass a method?
Yeah, of course you could. It's an object. When you pass an arrow function to an event, it's an object that. That's how it translates, right? And in the end, you could do it as well, of course. So this is quite simple. I'm really becoming like a believer of this thing, to be honest, especially coming from React world, right? So I want to show you one last thing, one last demo.
Can I see the syntax of this mediator pattern? Because I didn't.
Yes. I think I skipped that part, or I ate that part. Let me. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's go here. So this is my structure, all right? So let me explain what I try to do. It's I think, quite a lot for a small talk like this, but I wanted to show you, or I wanted to challenge myself to do a timer app. When you go to a gym, for example, and you're doing like a CrossFit and things like that, you have to do an exercise, rest, do another round of the exercise, rest, and then change to another exercise, and always the same, right? Like 2 times or 3 times, and it's always something like that. And it's quite simple. It's a song that is in the background running, and then the beep, 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 telling you like stop, go, stop, go. So if you want to read the countdown, this is pure JavaScript stuff, and it's just a class. This part, right? This is I leave it to you. So it's the simple, how do you play the audio, how do you count, like if this over or not, how do I need to go, how much time I need to play, if you're in the exercise or if you're resting. I'm not gonna bother you guys with this, but my point here is this one, right? So, okay, let's go to the index. So this says that I have an object or an element, right? The component, which is going to be a listener, and inside is going to be a dispatcher. So let's go to a listener for a minute, and let's go first for the render to see what is going on. I tried as a standard for me to leave always the render to the end, and styles, properties, always on top, construct, and then inside the methods, and try to follow it, this pattern. So if there's a property called plain, it's not plain, then show the form that where I want to put, like, okay, how many loops are going to do, how many seconds it's going to take the exercise, and how many seconds it's going to take the resting time, right? If not, yeah, just show me the stop button. Yeah, the thing is done, I want to get out or whatever. The guys are too tired, they don't want to do, they just want to kill it, done, right? So, okay. This is a function that will show a form. Let's go to this one. Let's see the form. The form has an at start exercise. That means that he's waiting for this event. So this should be like a click, right? And when this event is triggered, I want you to call this guy to start exercise listener. And here, this is a lit element, the called slot. Basically, it's like a placeholder for something that is happening inside of the element. That something that is inside of the element is this guy. Where's the index? Yeah. Okay, this guy. You see? So I have this, and whatever is inside is the slot. So this is what I'm telling the thing. It's the part that it was tricky to understand or to see it. It's quite, weird. And also you can imagine, you could pass three elements, and then on the other side you need to put 3 slots that you're going to use. And that, I was like, oh, now I see why is that?
Like in React Router, they have now the same thing. If you want to do nested rows,
okay.
They show, like, you, for example, you have 3 deep nested row, nested root. It means that you will see all 3 components from each of the routes, absolutely from each, but the place where you define them is a special component called outlet, I think. So you need to, like you have here a slot, they have outlets.
Oh, I didn't know.
I think it's the 6th version of React Router.
Cool, man. No, good. I need to learn more. But okay, so imagine this, right? So whenever you trigger an event called a start exercise on that guy that we included on the other side, I'm gonna call this one a start exercise listener. So, okay, this is basically me constructing an object. So how it's going to be the loops, how it's going to be the detail, the time exercise, the resting time, and the Boolean playing. In this case, I'm going to create a countdown, and I'm going to pass all the information that I just got here from the event that happened on the other side, right? This is like, in the other side, they say, go. This one, listen, got the thing, start the thing. So start the exercise. Now let's see the dispatcher. Okay, so I'm going to display here in the render 3 inputs: the loops, the exercise time, and the resting time. Okay, and press the button here. Excellent, and I think I left a form. Yes, on submit, I want you to call this event, handle submit. So if I go to handle submit here, of course I block the submit the thing so it doesn't go to another place. I reach out for the information that it was placed in the form, and this one is important. I'm telling the thing that it's going to bubble up. So you are allowing the events happening inside your component to reach out to the parent component. So this is important, but also you need to do this only when you're doing this type of a pattern, right? Don't do it or don't overdo it, because it could trigger a lot of problems in the future, right? So you need to do it very, very precise. Okay, so this is going to dispatch an event called a start exercise, which is exactly this guy that is listening here. Where is it? Here, start exercise. You see, if I put something here like a start exercise that jam or something, I of course need to go to the other side and rename it. All right, and then of course passing the options that I want the other guy to listen. You know, like, okay, this is the detail of the options that I want to send you, right? And then, okay, let's see how this thing works. So of course, no validation, my bad. So exercise time, let's say 15 seconds. And resting, let's say 10 seconds. So this should be something, let me see, how's the volume, it's good. I think I need more. So you're doing the exercise, should come the 15 seconds, and then trigger the other for the resting. So now should be 10 seconds. And like that, where it goes to the loop, you see? And that's how you communicate, you know? The parent against the child against the parent, and you can also do a lot of stuff there. And if you have other children, you could also pass to other guys as well using that pattern. So that's it, guys. Any questions?